Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 5th to the 11th of October 2015. It's quite appropriate, we're in the month of Libra, and this week is almost structured like a good soundtrack. So we begin with the bass. We have a baseline playing of Sun square Pluto this week. So where a square is often challenging, it shows us where we need to look at what's being challenged in order to break through and make harmony. So the Sun in Libra, square Pluto in Capricorn. We've had this quite a bit over the last few years, but it's very poignant now because of the particular Sun alignment and the fact that Pluto's going direct. So anything that's difficult, anything that's challenging that comes up in the first part of the week, have a look at the two sides separately and then see where the middle ground is, rather than trying to find complete harmony or keeping things completely separate and warring against each other. So the Sun in Libra is about enlightening our energy in our body, about freeing up the soul waves of relationships, not having to have an agenda or expectations, but just allowing your soul energy to flow. And a relationship really is with yourself first, and then that's reflected in the quality of your relationships with others. And Pluto in Capricorn has been changing everything in the background, what we stand on and for, what we believe in, and what we need to change in order to live a more fluent and harmonious life. So those two things can be worked with if we just accept that we don't need to be attached, we don't need to be dense, we don't need to hang on in there, we don't need to stand and fight for our way and for our projected way forwards, but let go a little bit and actually fall into the flow of what is relating, what is relationship, where's the harmony, where's the common ground, and maybe let go of a few beliefs that could even be coming from childhood, which is security, structure and stability, which may be false, that may not suit even the other person. We have a relationship and we're normally thinking about our own needs, but where's their flow, where's the actual connecting point between ourself and the other? But mostly, like I say, it's to do with your own relationship with yourself, your lower self and higher self, your inner self and outer self. And anything that needs to be broken down structurally or in way of attachments or in way of defence systems that have been built up, just let that go now with that sense of lightness and brightness and ease. So that aspect will be running through the beginning of the week. And then the other bass tone is Mars opposite Neptune. So Mars opposite Neptune, we have Mars in Virgo opposite Neptune in Pisces, and we've been working with this axis quite a lot through the month of Virgo, through late August and September. So directing our soul force energy to something that's long-term and productive, doing all the small steps to get to the big picture, to get to the big reward, but that's kind of mental productive energy, and Neptune is more keep connected with the soul purpose of your plans. Let them flow a bit more easily. Don't try and plot and plan and try too hard and push forwards, but connect back to the core essence of whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Make sure it's in tune with the real you, and let that unfold with a bit of a sense of imagination and mystery, not super controlling every step of the way. Then we come to the midtones. We have Venus going into Virgo on Thursday. So we already have Mars in Virgo, and now Venus is going to go into Virgo, and this really connects us back with the beauty of nature, with the beauty of the environment, and with the beauty of our inner environment. So Venus in Virgo is tending to our inner garden, what's growing, what timescales are required in order to let things flourish in their own time, rather than trying to force the issue. What timings are involved in the planting and reaping cycle on our insides. Is this the right time to set something in motion? Is this the right season to actually begin a new project? So Venus into Virgo, taking us into our creativity, into our knowledge that everything in nature has its own time, and from seed to fruit will flourish as it should if we nurture the soil, rather than stand there and expect and watch and wait for the flower to bloom. We need to just allow that seed its time. So nourishment of our inner soil, creativity, the love of the cycles of nature, and the love of what we're producing in the right time is what Venus in Virgo will be teaching us in the next few weeks. Moving on to the high notes now, we have on Friday a very short aspect, Mars and the Moon meeting. So we've already got Mars in Virgo, we've just seen Venus go into Virgo, and on Friday Mars meets the Moon, so we have a trinity there in Virgo. But Mars and the Moon together, again beautiful because that's reconnecting us to our subconscious values. So whereas Mars opposite Neptune was saying make sure that there's a soul force flowing through your plans, Mars and the Moon are one day aspect to say, okay, well, where's that soul force coming from? What's in your subconscious? What are your desires? But maybe even showing us some of our fears or our repressions, some of our blocks that are stopping us from achieving that flow. So anything that comes up on Friday is a message from the subconscious. Is there a base belief there of I don't deserve, or it won't work, or anything that's been built into our programming in the past? The psychological, the subconscious thoughts and feelings being catalysed by Mars, being brought to the surface for quick clearance, so we may get shown where it is that we're stopping ourselves from getting into this flow. Then finally, by Saturday, we have Mercury turning direct. So Mercury has been going retrograde in Libra, again over that autumn equinox period, calibrating all of the opposites, masculine and feminine, night and day, light and dark, inner and outer, and very much focusing on all of our relationships with ourselves and others. So any hiccups that have occurred since around the 18th of September, those have been showing you what needed to be calibrated. It can be quite funny, it can be quite frustrating. But as Mercury turns direct at the weekend, we should have the message now, and we should be able to act upon what we've learnt. Mercury being our processing thought and our inspiration, we may well be able to move forwards now with all this creativity around, with the Sun in Libra and Venus in Virgo. We may be able to step forward and start to actually work with our creative soul force without the restrictions that we might have had if we tried to do that earlier on. And very much in that relationships, the balance, the realisation, what we're thinking, what we're saying, how we're communicating, has that been a bit sticky? Can that actually be freed up for more flow? Can we tune into higher thought forms and express ourselves in a purer way to create more fluency and understanding in our relating? So there's a sense of difficulty at the beginning of the week with the square, a pulling in the middle of the week with the opposite of Mars and Neptune, and then a change of climate as Venus goes into Virgo, a catalytic Friday to show us, that's what's been blocking me, that's what my subconscious belief was behind that stalling point with the Mars and the Moon on Friday. And then by the weekend, when Mercury goes direct, everything should be forward flow, resolution and reunion. And after all the space that we've cleared, it feels like there's some new green shoots and some excitement starting to appear. So we can see that the thoughts and the emotions that we're putting into our plan, into our heart-centered soul force plan going forwards, we start to see the first simple but very exciting signs of possibility and of joy coming into the future. Very simple, very clear and very spacious, but no need to rush as we're working with the cycles of time. Just allow those shoots to flourish, keep nurturing the soil, and keep connected with the heart and the soul and the creativity. As we step forward into the winter, we can now start to put a plan together where we can make the most of ourselves and live our purest, most essential soul life. So those are the horoscopes for this week, and I'll see you next week. If anybody would like to explore these aspects and where they happen in your own personal chart, then please do contact me for a reading. I'm available on Skype, or you're very welcome to take one of my online courses where you have videos and notes to guide you through and email access during the process, so you can begin to learn this for yourself. If you want to learn more slowly over the course of a year without actually taking a full course, then I also have my online members subscription group where you can post your chart and you can chat with like-hearted other people. We see what's coming up, we see where it applies to you, and we work with those current aspects as well as having discussions on surrounding topics. So 3 options there: a personal reading, an online course, or joining the membership group if you want to really engage and apply all of this aspects to what's happening in your own chart and start to connect and learn your own chart in the most simple and intuitive way. So I am available. Please do contact me, zoehind7@gmail.com.